Good day, everyone. Welcome to the second edition of the Sport Rep Show. My name is Limba Mupatame, and I'm joined in studio by my co-host Jesse Jackson Karaiza. Welcome, Jesse.
Good day.
Jesse is going to take us through some of the highlights of this weekend's activities.
Yes, we had the Rossing Marathon, the African Continental Wrestling Championship, the Gravity Cup, David Delenga. Bobby Samari also announced his squad. We have some players who joined foreign clubs in South Africa.
Great, great.
Dion Hotto, Willie Stefanis and Peter Shelulile were on target this weekend. The Springboks have also been linked with a move to the Northern Hemisphere. Cristiano Ronaldo was on target this weekend as well.
And I said there is the Nedbank Cycle Challenge coming up as well.
Yes, the Nedbank Cycle Challenge is also in 6 days, and athletes have expressed their desire to do well there.
Fantastic.
As well as fans too.
Fantastic. So just take us through the Rossing Marathon. Who won?
Maynard Kawanivi won the 29th edition of the Rossing Marathon in a time of 2 hours, 20 minutes and 58 seconds, while Alina Armas clocked 2 hours, 41 seconds to win the women's category.
I think when it comes to Alina, I think she's our next Hilaria Johannes, if I'm not mistaken, because she's been doing quite well for some time now.
Yes, Limpa, the lady has actually been doing quite well, and if you look at how she finished on Saturday, it was quite intriguing. Maynard Kawanivi himself is not as well as a bad athlete, and we hope that they can actually qualify for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
So did you speak maybe with some of the participants or some of the guys that would like to take part, or who did you have maybe a conversation with around?
No, the Rongo Sports recorded Maynard Kawanivi, and this is what he had to say.
Okay, Maynard, you've just crossed the finish line at the Rossing Marathon of the 42 kilometers. How are you feeling?
I'm very
Great. You're tired, ne?
I'm tired, yeah. I try my level best.
There we go. And then, Maynard, I understand you were the champion of this specific race in 2014.
Yeah.
And you again the champion this year.
Yeah, because
Tell us about your training schedule. How do you train?
I'm training very hard. My training partners are helping me, Ryan Thomas and Ralia Johannes.
Yes.
And I was prepared from December for this event. And I just decided I would just run my own race.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what is next for you, Maynard?
I think I will run the half marathon of Samlam, then I go into Botswana marathon on May.
Lovely. And you are from, for who are you running? For the Namibian police?
I'm running for
Correct.
the police.
Hey, look at that. Congratulations, Maynard. Give us a high five. Woo!
So I understand that the Africa Continental Wrestling Championship is ongoing. We have Namibian athletes also taking part there. Some guys won some medals.
Yes, two of Namibia's representatives at the Continental Championship, Romeo Goliath and Alvaro Ahab, actually managed to win medals there. Goliath won the silver medal, while Ahab won the bronze medal in Algeria.
That's fantastic. And this weekend we had the Gravity Cup as well, as you were saying, the first edition of the Gravity Cup. How was it? You were there? How was the atmosphere?
It was indeed a great atmosphere. It was the 2020 Nami Poultry Gravity Cup, which actually kicked off at the Windhoek High School over the weekend, with schools vying for top positions in rugby, football, netball, and other sport codes. The next events will take place in Ocho and at the coast before the finals conclude in March in Windhoek.
So you had a conversation also when moving forward now to the para athletes with David Ndelenga. So what was his response on his involvement with para athletes?
Yes, Limpa, many honor and recognize para athletes, but guides are mostly behind these successes. So guide David Delenga remains passionate about the sport and has helped Lahia Ishitile and Bernard Emmanuel to earn several accolades over the years. He says being a guide is actually something very special for him, and he wishes to continue with that as years goes by. Moving
forward to football, local football. Bobby Samaria has called up a 31-man squad for the Chan competition. Some of the guys that have been called up, do you think that it's a fair call up?
Yes, Limba, I think having called up the 31 players, Bobby Samaria actually had little to select from, knowing that the league has not been active. But I think it's quite a fair chance for the players that have been called up. But most of these players are players that have actually been part of the setup. You speak of the likes of Ratana Berubara, Pet Neven Wani, you actually played a few World Cup qualifier matches. You speak of this. It's quite a number of players that you can say will do good at the competition. However, we all know that the league has not been active, so our chances of winning anything at the tournament remain slim. But Samaria was actually happy and said that it doesn't matter whether there was no league active. He demands more from his players at this competition.
Obviously, you know, they're senior players, so that you need to step up if you're called for the national squad.
Yes.
Moving forward, there was a lot of hype and a lot of things happening on Facebook over the weekend. 2 Namibian players have been called up for Pele Pele, I understand. Some people thought it was Orlando Pirates. Can you please just explain a little bit as to what happened there?
Yes, Limba, it was an entire commotion there, but we do understand that Isaska Guriap, a former live fighter and a top scorer of the league, actually secured a contract with Pele Pele, which is an Orlando Pirates sub-team which plays in the Motsepe League. He was also joined by goalkeeper, Okanja United goalkeeper, Kelvin Spiegel. So the two will actually be playing in the Motsepe League and not actually in the PSL as many suggested. There was also rumors that the players would join the Super Diski team, but actually the Super Diski team is only for South African nationals, and that's why Colin April had to come on Facebook and confirm that the players will actually play in the Motsepe League.
But it's still, at the end of the day, I think it's a great move because with no local football happening in the country, I mean, I think it's appreciated that there are actually players still going out, you know, getting clubs and so forth, even if it's maybe the second division, whatsoever. No. So what are your thoughts on that?
Indeed, Limba, it's there's actually mixed feelings about that. There's mixed reactions about that.
Yeah.
Some feel that the Motsepe League is actually just like a social league, a boozers league here in Namibia. And these players, it could actually end their future. But however, maybe if the players impress in the Motsepe League, they can actually go to the senior team. So you can never know, but we all hope and wish them the best of luck for the season that's coming up.
Best of luck to them. Of our foreign legion, Hoto, Stefanis have quite, it was a great weekend for them as well. What happened there?
Yes, indeed, it was a wonderful weekend. Peter Shalulile scored a brace for his club against Uthonkonati in the Nedbank Cup. So Highlands Park actually managed to win this match 2-0. Dion Hoto was also on target for Bidvest Vets against Orlando Pirates. Although his goal was not the winning goal of the match, it forced the match. Orlando Pirates forced the match to penalties, but actually ended up losing 3-2. Willis Stefanes is also busy rejuvenating his career. He scored actually 1 goal to salvage a point for Lusaka Dynamos against Nkana FC in the Zambian Premier League on Saturday.
Oh, great things for our players. Moving on to rugby news, our neighbors Springboks have moved to the Six Nations. What's happening there?
Well, Limba, it's not a confirmed move yet. It's just reports linking them to the Northern Hemisphere Six Nation League, and this will only happen after the World Cup. The Boks currently participate in the Rugby Championship, which is formerly known as the Tri-Nations.
Fantastic. More football. My favorite player, Ronaldo, who just turned 35 this week, has broken a record, I understand.
Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo continues to break records, and as you said, he turned 35 this week, but actually scored in the 65th minute to hit his 15th goal in 10 games and take his league tally to 20. Unfortunately, his side could not beat Corona, who actually salvaged a 2-1 victory over Juventus.
Wow, okay. So just bringing it back a little bit, local news, we have the Nedbank Cycle Challenge happening this Sunday. What are expectations there?
Well, it's just in 6 days away, and the cyclists fans have expressed excitement towards the competition. Super Kapora Kanji says He does not have the legs but has the voice to cheer the cyclists to the finish line. The events take place on Saturday and Sunday in Windhoek, with the Kids Challenge starting on Saturday and the Nedbank Cycle Challenge on Sunday.
Wow, great, fantastic highlights. Well, now we go for a little break, and after the break, we'll bring you an interview we did with one of the race directors, Patrick de Goede. So stay tuned. So hi everybody, the 35th edition of the Nedbank Cycle Challenge is fast approaching. In studio we have Patrick de Goede, one of the organizers of the event. Welcome, Patrick.
Welcome, thank you very much for having me.
So tell the viewers a little bit the work that goes into organizing an event of such a big magnitude. What happens behind the scenes?
So just to be clear, I'm the commentator on both event days. I'm not directly involved with the organization, but I've been privy over the years to the organization, and it's a really big rolling machine. We're trying to provide safe cycling for arguably several hundred mountain bikers on the Saturday, and for 1,000 or in excess of 1,000 riders on the Sunday on the road. So there's a lot of collaboration with the city of Windhoek, with the city police, with third-party stakeholders. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, food vendors, medics, safety, security, etc., etc. So the gears have been churning. There's a big change for this year in the sense that the national mountain bike marathon champs are no longer part of the event, and so we've gone from traditionally a 2-weekend type affair where the road bike was on one weekend and the mountain bike was on another. We've now condensed that, so it's a really action-packed weekend, starting Friday afternoon with the registration at the venues and then moving all the way through to Sunday in the city centre at Zoo Park.
Awesome. So, every year the race gets bigger and better. What are just some of the highlights that you can think of right now that have happened over the past?
I think what's interesting this year is that we're in an Olympic cycle, and we have a number of riders that have qualified, or rather we've qualified as a country for mountain biking as well as road racing. Right now there's all eyes on the road race scene because the hotshots like Dan Craven, Martin Fryer, Drickus Coetzee are the contenders for the road race berth, and this race forms part of that selection criteria. For the mountain bikers as well, Alex Miller as well as Tristan de Lange are vying for that mountain bike spot, and so there's a lot of focus around the Olympic cycle, which is a big deal, and so spectators will be treated to some really, really good racing on Sunday on the road. As always, we're in collaboration with Nedbank. We're intent on growing the kids side of things. So there's a big focus on the kiddies event on Saturday morning at Waldorf School. That's part of the mountain bike event. Over the years, it's been amazing how the event has kind of progressed and has grown to incorporate families. There was a time where it was very, very much about the riders on the day. And the event has become more and more fun orientated, and we see all shapes and sizes take to the trails and to the roads over the weekend. Big focus this year on having fun. Okay, awesome. So the quality of cycling in Namibia, how would you rate it at the moment? I think in an African context, we're contenders. We've and that's underpinned by the fact that we've managed to secure 2 Olympic berths. One for mountain bike and one for road. So I think in an African context, we're right up there with the South African guys. On an international stage, I think we struggle because our athletes, like so many sporting codes in the country, they lack the exposure. It's expensive to race overseas, whether you're campaigning on the mountain bike or on the road, and so we've probably got some ground to cover there. But our current crop of cyclists, whether they're male or female, are very, very competent and very good at what they do. Awesome. So cycling is perceived to be a very expensive sport because looking at for instance, the bike that you need to buy, the maintenance that goes into the bike, the shoes, the type of shoes that you need to wear. For the average guy on the street who would like to take part in the competition, what would your advice be? Where can they maybe get a cheaper bike? What should they look out for? Right. So I think there's some truth to the statement that cycling is expensive. I think if you want to compete at the high end, there's certainly, I think like all sports, when you're competing, there's a sizable price to be paid. But the misconception, unfortunately, is wrong in the sense that people who just want to ride don't need anything fancy at all. You need a bike and you need a helmet. And it could be the 20-year-old bike that's been standing in your garage gathering dust. You need a helmet that's going to set you back somewhere between $200 and $600 for something that's safe and that's compliant. So there really isn't much pressure to spend money other than rolling a bike out. And if you don't have a bike for the weekend, borrow one.
Yeah.
Lots of very, very good bike shops in town that would all be happy to help newcomers. They're staffed by experienced riders and experienced staff. There's lots of very vibrant used forums on Facebook and on the internet where people sell and buy bikes used. You could just, as I said, you could borrow a bike for the weekend, but it's important to understand that you don't need all the gear to enjoy yourself next Saturday or next Sunday. You need to pay the entry fee, and we're gonna talk about that in a second, the entries, but you need to pay the entry fee. It's very affordable because Nedbank does an amazing job of subsidizing all their events, whether it's cycling or running. And you just need to show up. You need a helmet and you need a bike.
Yeah, Patrick, looking at the involvement of women, the participation of women, has it grown over the years?
Absolutely. I think cycling is one of the sports that is accessible to all shapes and sizes, and women hold their own. The racing scene in Namibia at the moment amongst the women is really vibrant. There's lots of women-only teams that are participating in the current Windhoek Pedal Power Racing Series. Michelle Foster, Vera Adrian, Irene Stein, to mention just a couple of the ladies, are great proponents of the sport, and so the women's side is very, very well represented.
Awesome. So can you please just take us through how one can enter for
so the
race?
The entries as always are on I beg your pardon, are online, and that's running via the Events Today platform. So Events Today, Stay Today, Pay Today. They're an events partner with Nedbank, and so the entries are available online. I am unsure about what the arrangement is for late entries. I would encourage people to get entries done. We have a culture in Namibia where we leave everything to the last minute. And it's an absolute nightmare for race organizers because we don't know what we're dealing with in terms of numbers. We don't know how many medics we need. We don't know how many toilets we need, and so it's great when people enter on time. And so we'll always make provision. When I say we, the organizing committees, will always make provision for late entries, but it's something we discourage. We'd like to get people online and get entered so that we know what we're dealing with. And there's no time like the present. There's no reason you should have to wait till the day before race day.
And lastly, the important part, I think, fitness. When it comes to fitness, what would your message be to those guys who want to just take part last minute, they haven't trained, I mean, to avoid cramps and that type of thing? What would your message be?
So I was fortunate enough to attend the press launch last week at the Nedbank HQ when we spoke to the local press, and to echo the sentiments of both race organisers. So the road race is being facilitated by Windhoek Pedal Power, that's Fana Lambert and his crew, and then Michael Lover is running the rock and rut side of things, so the mountain bike. And the focus is really on fun, and to initiate that and to facilitate that, they've made distances available that anybody can participate in. So there's the kids. We're going to have an under 10 race for the kids on the Saturday. That's mountain bike, and that small loops where the parents can participate with their kids and they can assist them. For the mountain biking on Saturday, the basic route is short. It's easy to ride. There's no massive fitness needed. There's no crazy bike handling skill needed. You literally just need to show up with your bike. You'll get by. And on Sunday, on the road race, I think it's 20, 35, 65 and 100. So you literally, to get around town 20 k's on the bike and see the sights of the capital, there's not much fitness needed. If you haven't trained at all, it might be a tough day out for you, but over 20 k's, I'm sure you'll survive. It's about an hour of riding, and there's lots of refreshments at the finish line, and there'll be food vendors and stuff. For the guys that have been training, I would say from next week onwards, it's probably a good time to start dialing the training down and recover a little bit so that you're fresh and rested for race day.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Patrick, for being in studio with us. So for you guys out there who would like to take part in the cycling event, please do make sure that you enter on time. Don't wait till the last minute, because there might not be a spot for you. Yeah, from us, it's bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back, viewers. Looking at the sport results of the weekend, we have the Super Rugby, Highlanders versus Sharks. Sharks beat Highlanders 2042. We have the ICC Under-19 World Cup results as well, and so much more. And the Nedbank Cup also took place. So some of those highlights you can actually find on page 7 of Sport Wrap. Just taking you through some of these results. Of course, we have the Rossing Marathon results as well. So you can catch all of those in Sport Rap. Moving forward to the week, we have some of the results, or rather some of the games that you can look forward to today, this week, in Must Watch. We have the Test Series, which took place earlier this morning. It was around 6:45. We had Pakistan playing Bangladesh. The match is still ongoing, I understand. We have the tennis that will also take place this week. We have cricket as well. We have the Nedbank Cup as well. So just some of the things to look forward to. And that is all from us. Thank you so much, Jesse, for joining us in studio. I hope to see you again, most probably next week.
Thank you. Good evening.
Ciao.